Hey guys, what's going on? Ultimus here. Another 2v2 arena commentary video for you guys. Still with the same Holy Paladins of the past couple matches. This video is only going to have 2 matches because the last one's pretty long since we came up against a second healer DPS combo. But in this particular fight, we've got a Frost Mage and a Beast Mastery Hunter already sitting in defensive stance for the starters because the CC is going to be so very real along with the burst. At that point I saw no better option than to trinket that. I figured if I sat in that, my healer or I was going to die. And I'm still CC'd, I mean, that's just the match. There's the poly. It's just the kind of thing you just expect. You know, no matter how much you interrupt, you know this is how the fight is going to go for at least a particular portion of it. So my goal is to sit on this mage as hard as I can since I feel like he poses the biggest threat with the polys. At this point, with the block swapping over to the hunter, just trying to put some pressure on him since the mage decided to block during my cooldowns. The nice thing about these is they really don't have any massive self-heals, more or less, so I'm not too worried about them getting necessarily capped off, although the mage can once, you know, he sits in that ice block, and I know he has another one coming up. But I'm noticing the hunter is getting low enough, so I'm just deciding to, instead of running around trying to get back on the mage, taking opportunity of the fact that the hunter is right here, keeping the pressure on him, and he just decides to go down. I don't remember if he popped both deterrents or just the one. I didn't quite catch that. Be curious to go back and watch that again. Either way, I'll take it. And at this point, the mage is trying his, or her best, I should say, but still not trying to get cocky or get comfortable, because I know if I'm playing dumb or if I really get too lax, the mage can still win if they're good. But luckily, we kind of keep the pressure going, and we're trying to interrupt those polys, keep the CC on the mage, chasing him down, and luckily the mage isn't able to pull it back off. I love playing arenas in PvP with a healer, especially as a warrior. I feel like, again, I've said this before and I'll probably continue to say it until I quit playing WoW, that warriors just seem like they're made to play with healers more than any other class in spec. Like, every other class does well with a pocket healer, obviously, but warriors and healers just seem to be like so complementary of one another. Just the way they synergize, especially with a warrior and a holy paladin, I feel like just between the freedoms and the extra stuns and the way we can synergize off each other is just a great thing. So now we got a arms warrior and a restore dude, almost a mirror comp, except of course, you know, I've got myself a holy pally. And this match goes a little bit long, and there's definitely a couple close calls in them, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping the warrior would be dumb and continue to line of sight his healer, but to my disappointment, he was not. So we're definitely trying to bait the warrior back around to put him in a position to where his healer has to work really hard, but he's smart enough and goes back to his healer. And that, at this point, this is when I realized we're going to be in for a long game. I was pretty happy when I was able to nail that druid in his own cyclone with the spell reflect, even since he saw me put it up, and still finished casting it, but there's nothing I can do about that one. So luckily, I think at this point the druid is kind of on to me, and he knows what to expect more or less. So my goal, again, as an arms warrior, especially when I'm playing stuff like this, is to try and keep these two just bunched up as best as I can. But it's not really working too well. The druid definitely is playing. I don't know if I want to say the druid is good. I mean, the druid's probably better than I am. But he's definitely doing a smart job of keeping himself away or far enough away from his warrior that he's not going to get caught in the sweeping strikes and the cleave damage. Swapping over, excuse me, dinner's talking back, that was rude. The druid definitely was the optimal choice there at the moment. I wanted to swap over to him since I figured hitting the warrior wasn't really going to work too well. So at this point, I'm trying to play close to my paladin because I definitely don't want to line of sight him. I'm trying to correct the problem that I know I have, and that is getting tunnel vision and just chasing, and then I put my healers in tough situations. So often I feel like the healer gets blamed for losses in PvP, but I feel like as a DPS, I've thrown and I've lost just as many matches from dumb decisions to chase or go around a corner and get tunnel vision. Like, I can throw a match just as quickly, if not quicker, than a healer. So I'm trying to be responsible and be somewhat aware of what's going on around me. Still trying to sit on the druid since he's not afraid to doss out those cyclones. He's definitely being very generous with them. Warrior just caught me in that stormbolt there. So the warrior's trying to peel me off of his druid because definitely I'm doing enough damage. I'm not feeling that I'm having a problem putting out damage. The problem, of course, is that the druid is doing a very good job of keeping himself healed up, keeping his warrior healed, And definitely one of the areas that druids will either shine or fall apart is that just the difference, I think, between skill cap druids and just your average wrestler druid is where druids shine is that they are able to handle cleave pressure very, very well with their hots. However, bad druids, you'll be able to tell very quickly that they don't know how to manage that cleave pressure, and you'll just see one target start to fall. And so trying to capitalize on that more or less, put the druid in a tough situation where he has to make those choices, but it's not working out so well. So definitely this is just one of those things where we're trying to play into dampening a little bit. Luckily my paladin as well, I feel like we're talking about how good the resto druid on the enemy team has been playing. My holy paladin is doing an excellent job of keeping both of us up, keeping us healed, and in this point still trying to keep us both up with the pressure going on, because I know that druid is not afraid to put some damage out. Trying to stick on the druid for a little bit. Didn't want to leave my warrior alone for too long, or sorry, not my warrior, my paladin alone for too long, as that could be hazardous. Just knowing what an armed warrior can do to a healer if I'm not paying attention, and at this point I couldn't quite get over there quick enough. Spell Reflect just came off cooldown right as that Cyclone came out, which was a bummer. So I'm definitely at this point trying to get over to my paladin. I was able to pull out the bubble. I was hoping to get over to him quick enough so he didn't have to bubble, but it wasn't quite soon enough. Luckily, he lived, so that's really all that matters. I was kind of bummed to get caught in another Cyclone. Just wasn't quite having it there. So in this particular case, I was able to get the roots, which might not have been the best use of Spell Reflect, but it sounded like a better option at the time rather than sitting in roots since I had no trinket left. Because I definitely know that dampening is setting in, and I don't want this warrior just sitting on my druid or my paladin as much as he wants. Although Wings is up right now, so I'm really not too concerned with him dying, but I figure since the druid is around the corner, I might as well stick on the warrior. And I guess another thought that I'm having while watching this match after the fact is that's definitely, I feel like, something that can be a tough call, is knowing when to swap. Because knowing when to swap can be such an effective key for arenas. Anyone who's played arenas knows. But then swapping too much just obviously spreads you too thin, and you're not putting any pressure out on anybody. So, and especially in 2v2s, since the game is built around, I just noticed that I got my bolt right off after the Cyclone went off, so we both got CC. That was funny. No, but just knowing when to swap and just learning when to put that pressure out, because I don't want to lose my arc, but I don't want to just get tunnel vision either. And that's, as I said before, one of the things I'm definitely trying to fight against and get better about, not just falling victim to my own traps of tunnel vision. Because as a warrior, you're so addicted to those big crits and just the damage that you can put out because you know it's possible. But on the flip side, it's that you're not going to put out any damage if you're just doing dumb crap all the time and not putting yourself in a position where you can optimize on those big hits. And so at this point, I was pretty impressed with myself. I was able to line of sight his Cyclone. I know he's casting on me, keeping an eye on my focus, but it just isn't happening, and I was able to get that reflect on him. At this point, me and the druid are kind of, I feel like this is a game of cat and mouse with me and the druid. He's learning what I'm doing, and I'm learning what he's doing, and luckily we're able to kind of keep it going. Paladin bubbled on himself here to keep himself alive, and at this point the druid knows he's in a dicey situation. He got reflected on with the clone, and then we got the Stormbolt off, able to CC him long enough to secure the kill. I'm definitely happy with how I finished that match off. I was getting a little concerned there. There was a couple times when I thought for sure I was dead and done, but honestly, with this win, I'm pretty proud of this win. I'm pretty proud ultimately with the way we pulled it off, and I couldn't help but salute the dude at the end because they played the match well, but in the end we came out victorious, and that makes me very, very happy. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.